All right, ladies and gentlemen. Here on this stream, I'm a numbers guy. And I'm gonna be honest. Y'all love the numbers. Gets the people going. It's provocative. We've used numbers on this stream time and time again to prove most you gamers are frauds. This time, we're not gonna do that, but we do have a new set of data. Almost 60% of developers say the industry is in bad condition and it blames investors and mismanagement, something I talk about all the time. Let's see why developers say gaming sucks. Over 600 game developers were surveyed by the Game Developer Collective in May 2024. That's recent. And I'm just going to say 60. 60% of them collectively minced no words. The industry is in a bad spot. Those surveyed would ask about present market conditions for the overall industry, and 38% and 21% respectively were at bad and very bad, while 26% stayed neutral and 13% found it good. Market conditions in this instance refers to the industry's unusually difficult commercial environment, such as its sways of layoffs and closures and the financial difficulties at studios that precede these events. When asked, 49% think conditions are likely to stay the same over the next 6 months, 19% believe things will get worse, while 25% are more optimistic that conditions will only improve from there. When it came to determining the root cause of these difficulties, 61% of developers pointed at a finger of unreasonable investor expectations, and in second place at 58% was mismanagement. Literally what I talk about on this stream and as well as several videos on my channel. Capitalism, the idea of it is good. Free market, compete, the idea is good. The problem with capitalism, like many things, shit, you can throw socialism in there, communism, any ism in there. There's the human element. I refer to it as the human element. People are greedy. And the problem with capitalism is there's a lot of people at the top that have this idea. They're so disconnected from reality that they believe this idea that numbers will always continue to grow up, and the reality grow. And the reality is, it's just not true. There is a limit to everything. Not everybody is a gamer. Let's get something straight. There's like, what, 8 billion people on Earth right now? Not every one of them is a gamer. And of those gamers, not every one of them is going to be interested in the genre of game you're making. So you got niches within niches within niches. So therefore, you're not going to always find growth. And like, I feel like they got to be more realistic about what they like. Yo, what do you mean you want to see 25% growth every year? It's not possible. We've reached a point where you're $1 billion plus company, whatever company you could think of. Why not be a little bit more reasonable? Hey, as long as we hit 2 to 5%, we're good. Or, take a pay cut. These CEOs can take a pay cut, but they don't want to do that. And then of course, mismanagement. We hear that all the time, especially with Ubisoft. Several articles have come out over the last year about how they don't manage time, talent, and they disrespect the talent all the goddamn time. But let's keep reading. Both have been previously cited as causes for closures and layoffs over the past 2 years. Some studios have been vague about the catalyst for their woes, while others were more direct, typically from those already that left some time ago, the ones that have nothing to lose. Other factors listed were rising development costs. Everything don't need to be a AAA mega blockbuster. Bring the AA game back. Competition from games. I've said the same thing on this stream. Another problem is, not only is everybody not a gamer, everybody's not going to be interested in your game, but also new games are being released every day between Steam, Xbox Live, and PSN. And then you got GOG, Humble Games. They're Humble Bundle's publishing games. You got YouTubers publishing games now. Shout out to Donkey. Everybody and their mama is a developer or a publisher now. Competition is stiff. And guess what? The consumer is dealing with inflation, lack of employment, and some just a lack of interest because they don't like the products that are being put out. You're not going to be able to get them all. It's too much choice. And there's a lack of innovation in consumer demand. I agree, the lack of innovation. The ones who are innovating, they're going crazy, but there's a lot that are not. But TBH, the line must go up for the stockholders, CEOs to get to get their yachts. Yeah, like, damn, nigga, you got one yacht. You need 3? God damn. Low expectations from developers are further reinforced by what appear to be missed sales targets across the industry. 48% of full-time employees fall below projections and 40% feel they're just as break-even point. Only 13% have exceeded their targets. All right, let me add to this too. They're saying that they're not hitting sales numbers. They're not hitting projections. Let me add to this. Not only is not everybody a gamer, but not everybody is a gamer. We've been over this. If you're of my generation, millennials, and maybe even like early Gen Z, like that 24 to up crowd. When we grew up and you met another gamer and they said, hey, I'm a gamer, that meant they played Super Mario, they played Zelda, they played 2K, they played Call of Duty, they played Final Fantasy, they played Baldur's Gate, they played Wario, they played Yoshi. We played everything. One of the downsides, and I think Fortnite, I feel like you could say Fortnite is the game that really made gaming crossover into the mainstream. When gaming crossed over to the mainstream, and then you have the Twitch streamers and the YouTubers, it bred a new category of gamer that I refer to as the hardcore casual. Yes, there are more gamers than ever, gamers, but most are hardcore casuals at best. What that means is they play 1 to 3 games every year. Call of Duty, 2K, Madden, Fortnite, Roblox. We've seen the charts. Matter of fact, some of them, they'll play Fortnite, Call of Duty, and then of those 3 games, they might try something new. Oh, I heard about Final Fantasy. Oh, I heard about Elden Ring. That's what's happening with Shadow of the Erdtree. That's why they're fucking patching the fucking game, because there's too many pussies on the game that don't want to adapt. You have the hardcore casual. That's the biggest market. The problem with the hardcore casual is they don't really dictate the market. No matter what happens in gaming, the hardcore gamer will always dictate the market. Casuals did not make Elden Ring popular. Hardcore gamers did. Hardcore gamers made Mass Effect popular. Hardcore gamers made Baldur's Gate 3 popular. Shit, hardcore gamers made Call of Duty popular. I'm old enough to remember when Call of Duty was considered more hardcore. It was originally a PC release. It went mainstream when Modern Warfare came out. We dictate the culture. So what happens is, I think these publishers, these CEOs, they just looking at the numbers, but they're not looking at the context. Yes, there's a bigger pool of money to get, but most those people with money are not brave enough to try a new game because they're not as passionate about gaming. It's always going to be that small pool of people, because people forget. Elden Ring has pushed From Software into the mainstream. Dark Souls were a very niche game. Even Sekiro. I feel like Sekiro started to cross over because it did win Game of the Year, but not quite on Elden Ring's level. But I feel like Sekiro walked so Elden Ring could run. And you're starting to see the difference. You're starting to see the difference. But it was the hardcore that kept those games going. Get good, get good, get good. Now that they crossed over, they're kind of struggling. They're trying to figure out what's the balance because you have more eyeballs than ever on it. The point I'm trying to make is, you got to keep the hardcore in mind. Make games that appeal to the hardcore. Because if your game is good, people like me and other hardcore gamers are going to gas it up. And then the casual is going to go buy it. If they have the means for it. If they have the means. But the hardcore casual, the one that just plays Fortnite and 2K, they're not on IGN. They're not watching my type of streams. They're not on GameSpot. They're not in Twitter Spaces. Although you Sony pony niggas be in Twitter Spaces, y'all still don't buy games. But y'all, no point in beating the dead horse. We know y'all niggas frauds. Yo, shout out to Malik the Freak with the sub. Appreciate it. So that's what I think. That's what I think when it comes to why these sales are. Yeah, they play Twitter. That's what they do. They play Twitter Spaces. I think that's the real reason. I feel like the context It's like, man, maybe I need to start my consulting company to help some of these dumbasses understand. You're missing the plot. Dear CEOs, you are missing the plot. The pool of money that you think is there is not as big as you think it is. The casual was not looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077. That was a new IP. The hardcore made Cyberpunk 2077 popping. Then everybody heard about it. It got some fire updates. Now a bunch of people are playing it. But the nigga who's playing 2K, the little squeaker on Call of Duty who pre-ordered Black Ops 6, he is not checking for Black Myth Wukong. What about Elden Ring? Oh, you know what I meant to say about Elden Ring? I was gonna say, people forget. There was a certain level of hype around Elden Ring, but Elden Ring crossed over after it came out. Like, I feel like from Souls fans were looking forward to Elden Ring. Because even me, I wasn't looking forward to that shit. Like, I didn't like Dark Souls 2, and I didn't play 3 like that. But when the game came out and the reviews came out, it crossed over. That's what I was trying to say. Like, they weren't really mainstream. I haven't heard Squeaker in years. Fucking squeakers. Yeah, Elden Ring lasted past that 2-month mark, which is crazy for a single player game. How many players are still on Suicide Squad? You want to do the Suicide Squad update? Let's see. Quick Suicide Squad update. Spelled that wrong. Oh wait, no, that's the Steam page. No, we don't want to go to that. Steam DB, Steam charts. Elden Ring update. I mean, Elden Ring. This is not Elden Ring. I'm so sorry. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League update. We've did it. We finally did it. We have reached I'm okay, buddy. We have reached sub 100 concurrent players. In its last peak of the 24 hours, it peaked at 100 players. In the last 45 minutes, they've had 87 players on the servers. We did it, guys. We did it. And to all the people out there, all 87 of you still fighting that 1300th wave of fucking the same purple minion against Brainiac. Good for you. Good for you. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Maybe in like 2 weeks, we'll do another update, see where the numbers are at. In other news, Tekken developer Harada gets remarkably candid discussing why Soulcalibur disappeared. For those unaware, Soulcalibur is my favorite fighting game. Street Fighter's number 2. But Soulcalibur has never sold well. It's never been as popular with the FGC, so it's always been more of like I guess it's not casual mechanically, but it's casual on the pro side, I guess. Harada responded to a tweet from a user who claimed that if Soulcalibur 2 had a director like Harada himself, then sales of that game in the series would have grown over time. The user even pointed to mechanics in the older Soulcalibur games that were ditched for more recent entries as a reason for the franchise's decline. But Harada insisted that there was much more to Soulcalibur's demise than the simple removal of game mechanics. He pointed to the departure of key staff on the project amid structural problems at Bandai Namco that even affected him at one point. This is crazy. His statement is reinforcing the article we just read about the mismanagement of developers. I can tell you that the organizational changes and the decision makers at Namco Bandai had a great deal to do with it, Harada said. He's throwing the company under the bus. I hope one day I can get as powerful enough that I can say fuck you to the company and still make the game I want. Harada said that the Soulcalibur series had a strong leader before an elite group of developers. In the early days, there was friction between the Tekken and Soulcalibur teams as a rivalry between them intensified. That's real. Soulcalibur 2 was a classic. I loved 4. Not a lot of people, I liked 4. I loved it. The strong leader quit, but Tekken and Soulcalibur are always rivals within the company as well, Harada added, more so than people can imagine. The two companies had different visions, different development policies, and very different ways of thinking about the brand. It's not that we hated each other, however, there were such rivals that it was not surprising to think so. Harada revealed that when the fighting game market shifted from the arcades to the home consoles, Soulcalibur outsold Tekken in North America, whereas Tekken did well in the arcades. Soulcalibur was also seen as having a promising future even within Namco, and was considered to be capable of expanding beyond the realm of fighting games in a rather global perspective. I agree. I feel like Soulcalibur it's like that what if story. Like, what if Derrick Rose never got injured? Or who was another one of my favorite players who played for the Timberwolves? Light-skinned dude. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He was crazy. What was his fucking name? Early 2000s, light-skinned dude. Brandon Roy. Yes, Brandon Roy. That we're gonna use that. Soulcalibur was the Brandon Roy of fighting games. From Soulcalibur 1 to like 4, it was on fire, and then it just fell off a cliff. They did a lot of dumb shit. It got injured. You said Roy played for the Blazers. Didn't he play for the Wolves too? I know he played for the Blazers. Didn't he play for the Wolves too? Once I'm bugging. But I could have swore. Hold up, man. Let's see. Brandon Roy, Timberwolves. You said yes late in his career. I knew I wasn't crazy. He did play. I know my shit. I knew he played. I don't know why, but for some reason I just remember him on the Wolves. But yeah, late in his career he did. I wasn't tripping. But yeah, he was in his prime in his Blazers. I get what y'all saying. I knew I wasn't crazy. Had a crazy three-pointer. Then we get to the nitty-gritty of Harada's argument that video game developers were faced with becoming managers as they progressed along with their career path, as opposed to becoming great video game developers. Reinforcing that article. Mismanagement of talent. He's saying basically the developers were forced to wear multiple hats, which stressed people out. And the thing is, if you don't focus on doing one thing good, you end up becoming bad at everything. The whole jack of all trades is a myth for most people. There is a rare case where somebody can be like someone like a Childish Gambino, where like you can act, like rap, make movies and shit. Like that's very rare. Most you niggas just need to actually no, none of you niggas. There's enough rappers, but you get the point. Jamie Foxx is very rare. That is very rare. He can sing, act, do comedy. That is a very rare thing. Most people need to focus on one goal. In fact, at the time, the only way to advance one's career was under such a system. Will Smith, too. Harada said, as a result, key developers would be peeled away from projects to work on other things, and this had a negative effect on Soulcalibur. It was a lack of focus. Project Soul was struggling to survive, especially among its younger members, Harada said. However, it seemed that it was difficult for them to maintain their vision, will, and organizational structure now that they are no longer in the game development-centered world of the past, but rather a game development team that is just one of all businesses in the group company. Harada then discussed his own experience of this, where he became the head of a new department called Global Business Development, which had nothing to do with the game development. This meant that from a company organizational point of view, I was out of the Tekken project, both in terms of the company itself and its divisions. They promoted him to do something else other than develop games. Little pump too. All right, 600. In response, Harada took himself to lead the Tekken project despite having a completely different job. In short, he continued the job he was forcibly peeled away from. So they weren't even paying my man to do that shit. This is crazy. I get the gist of it. He basically had to force himself sleepless nights to get that Tekken, boy. Makes sense why there's so much tracking in Tekken 8. He wasn't getting enough sleep. He wasn't thinking straight, Harada. He wasn't thinking straight. Quick one. Xbox's Avowed is fully playable in third person, confirms Obsidian. This is what's been turning me off from the game. I'm not gonna lie. Respect to people who love Skyrim. I've never been a Skyrim fan. I just never liked that first person perspective with like the action game like that. And that's kind of what's been making me about Avowed. I said I would still try it because it's on Game Pass, but it's nice to know you will be able to switch between first and third person, and you'll be able to do that. I'm not gonna read this article. You get the gist of it. The one thing I will say, and this is why these companies need consulting, they've shown Avowed like 3-4 times already. How come you didn't show that you can play in third person? That's a selling point. There is no con to showing people you can play in third person. You can, matter of fact, you can make most of the demo in first. Make it half in first. Then switch the camera. Surprise. Probably wasn't ready. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. You showed briefly in the recent podcast a third person mode. The whole game is playable in third person. Yep. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it just wasn't ready. They love announcing games before they were even close. So this kind of reinvokes my interest in the game because I do like Obsidian. I did love the Outer Worlds, and they made KOTOR too. So, and didn't they make New Vegas? Yeah, they made New Vegas. New Vegas. New Vegas. Play New Vegas. New Vegas. New Vegas niggas are unemployed. Anyways, so yeah, just making you aware. Did someone say New Vegas? I'm not gonna lie, New Vegas niggas are top 10 most annoying community in gaming. They're fucking annoying. You just gotta mod it 100 times to get it to run right. It's a little janky. Okay. But great game. This nigga's petty. Reports suggest less than 3,000 people have purchased the iPhone version of Assassin's Creed Mirage. And fun fact, it's because the game fucking sucks. Nah, jokes aside, it does. But why would anybody want to play a big ass third open world game on the damn? And that's why I think Assassin's Creed Jade might struggle too. Running that shit at 15 frames. You don't got a controller, touch controls. Bassam's fat and slow. Now he's gonna be even fatter and slower because I got to use touch controls. Why would I buy this? I'll just. And then you have to hook up an Xbox or a PlayStation controller to your phone, squint. Just play it on PC. Play it on Xbox, play it on PlayStation at that point. Crazy that you love this franchise. I still do. I just didn't like this game, and I didn't like Valhalla. They're 0 for 2 in the last 2 games. I'm really hoping Japan brings them back. I think I've said this on the stream. I'm not going to lie. They're 0 for 2 with their last 2 games for me. Japan might be the one. If they don't get it right with Japan, I'm probably retiring. Like, I've had enough. You niggas is 0 for 3. 0 for 3. What is this, bish? AAA games are announced early for fear of being canceled, developer says. Interesting. Mark Durar is known for being the creator of Dragon Age series and currently working as a consultant of the new Dragon Age Veilguard. He also has his own YouTube channel where he recently addressed the topic of why AAA games take so long to release. While the nearly 25-minute video is worth fully watching for the insight, the thing that stood out to me was the potential fear within studios of making the games. There might be reasons why it's important for the studio or the publisher to have that game in the public's consciousness, he said. It might be because the publisher's slate is a little weak and they want the public to remember it still has important games in its back pocket. It might be because the studio wants the game announced because they're worried the publisher might kill it otherwise. That makes sense. They're basically forcing the publisher's hand. If we announce this game before they say shit, what you gonna do? Because now if they make something that looks halfway decent, people are gonna be like, oh, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. And if the publisher cancels it, they look like the villain. So if they're not sure, it didn't save Scalebound. Well, I mean, nothing could have saved Scalebound. Go look at the footage of Scalebound. Scalebound has a very revisionist history image in everybody's head. Go watch the footage of Scalebound on YouTube. That shit was running at 10 frames. Every time I go back and look at it, I was like, I think we like the idea of Scalebound more than the actual what was being. If you go back and watch it, be like, I can see why it got canceled. I can see why it got canceled. Playtest for Riot's new fighting game, Double KO. August 8th to the 19th. Fun fact, August 8th is my birthday. Be ready to drop 100,000 subs in the chat. If you want to sign up, I'm dropping the link. Sign up if you want to play their new fighting game. It's a 2v2 Marvel vs. Capcom inspired game with modern controls. A new form of rollback netcode that they promise is going to be better than anything on the market. And it'll have League of Legends characters in it. Looks pretty good. It's up August 8th. Yeah, it's up. 100,000 subs in the chat. Don't act like I didn't drop you the link. Let's see. Oh, interesting. If you game on PC, some news for you. It's been announced today that Steam has launched a new feature in beta, which means probably by the end of the year, it'll be available for everybody else. If you don't like shadow play, which I don't know why, because it works pretty well. More importantly, I think this is more exciting for niggas who got AMD GPUs, because niggas with AMD GPUs got Androids. They got GPUs. I heard the recording software on AMD is dog shit from everybody likes AMD for the price to performance. I'm not gonna knock that. Like, it runs games well for the price compared to NVIDIA GPUs, but in terms of feature sets, they are still behind. So if you don't like the game recording feature on AMD because it fucking bricks your computer or it corrupts the file every 5 seconds, A new game recording feature is coming to Steam. It's in beta, so you would have to opt into the beta. That'll allow you to record clips directly from Steam. They're promising that it'll use low resources. So this is an alternative, and you'll be able to download your clips, share them online. Very simple. This is pretty cool. People wonder why Steam continues to dominate the market for PC gaming. It's because they continue to add things that gamers want. Like I said, one of the most criminally underrated features in Steam, in my opinion, at least if you're a content creator, the notepad. Use the notepad. Shift tab and then click the notepad at the bottom. You can take notes while you play games. Then you can copy and paste it in a Google Doc later when you write your review or your impressions. It's great. Instead of having to alt tab out and write in a Google Doc, it's fucking annoying. It's built into the game. So this is another cool feature. Steam continues to get better. So yeah, just know you have to opt into the beta if you want to try it now. I'm not going to do that because I got shadow play. Also, I don't really fuck with beta features like that. Well, I don't really fuck with betas, period. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I don't really fuck with beta features. I don't really be playing with my PC like that. Y'all niggas can play with y'all PC. My shit old. And then Marvel Rivals. They're getting another beta in July. July 24th is going down for console. I believe also if you played in the PC one, you get access automatically. I'll just give you the tweet if you're interested in playing on console. If you want to sign up for the beta, here you go. Oh, that link is gross. Here, let me give you this article instead. That link is gross. Oh, I can actually play the game? Yeah, why is the website not loading? Shit is slow as hell. Will you be back on Marvel Rivals? Oh yeah, I actually really like the game. I miss it. I don't know why. Here, I'll shorten the link. Yeah, I really like the game. It was a good squad game. I'm looking forward to it. Venom looked really cool. I was genuinely surprised by that. They got to clean up the optimization, but I was genuinely surprised by this game. You think you're gonna upgrade soon? Yeah, I'm working on some stuff. And then last but not least for this batch of articles that I got for you, if you needed another reason to be reminded that physical media is superior, Forza Horizon 4 is being delisted due to licensing issues. Because sometimes it's not like Ubisoft. They just want to pull a game off because fuck you. They want to turn the servers off and they take it off your hard drive. Sometimes it's licensing issues. Now, what does that mean? An example being was, what was it? There was a shooter game recently. The one about mental health. There was some music in it. What was it called? I love that game and I can't fucking remember it. What was the name of the game? Because it had the same issue. Spec Ops. Yeah, Spec Ops The Line. That got delisted off of Steam due to licensing issues. Something about the music. They couldn't afford to re-up on the license, so they had to take the game off of Steam. Same thing with this. Whatever it is. So this game's been delisted. You do not own these games. If you care, like let's say like you really loved Forza Horizon 4, you will not be able to play it again if you have the digital version, or at least if you were trying to buy it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've been, because I feel like this story is starting to pop up more and more and more. If you care about these games, buy a hard copy. Nothing will beat putting the disc in your hard drive. We own nothing now.